I used to believe a lot of wacky things when it came to how I could deal with the pain of my parents' divorce and how I could make it through life. I'm going to share 8 things with you. So, my go to for many years of my life was ignoring the pain and pretending it wasn't there. I just thought if I never talk about it, acknowledge it, if I never bring it up, if I never mention it, if I never look at it or think about it or write it down, then it's just not going to be a problem. So anytime I felt anything that hinted of pain, frustration, things, I just like stuck it under the carpet, I covered it over, I threw it in a drawer, put it in a closet, hid it, ignored it, turned away from it, turned the volume down, whatever. The second approach that I had was deciding that the problem was related to being at home in my dad's house. I was the child, I was stuck in a situation, and that once I was gone, out of the house, once I'd got my own place to live, I had my own job, my own friends, I could set my own rules, I could live the way I wanted to, then none of the difficult or painful things would impact me. And I could just leave that all in my childhood, in my teenage years, forget about it, and it would be done with. The third thing, once I realized that moving out of the house didn't actually help me, was sort of deciding that there was a goal that I was aiming towards in terms of getting older and beyond that time in my life. So for example, I thought, okay, when I'm 25, everything will be fine. Or when I'm 30, or when I'm 35 or 37, or whatever age it was. I just kept thinking at some point down the road, as I get older, everything will just work itself out and I won't have any problems, any issues or fears anymore. Okay, fourthly, because I kept getting older and the pains and the challenges didn't disappear. Actually, they sort of got worse. I thought, okay, what I need to do is I need to get married. And if I can get married, then I will feel good. I will feel secure. I will feel loved. I will never be alone, lonely, afraid, insecure, forgotten about, rejected, abandoned, or any of those things ever again. And my problem is that I'm not married. I switched my focus away from getting older to getting a certain relationship status, finding somebody who wanted to marry me. And when they married me, I believed that all of the other things would just disappear. A fifth thing that I used to believe, because I hadn't found anyone to marry me, I kept getting older, I was living on my own, things weren't getting better, was that if I could be successful in my career, whatever that looked like, if I could get a promotion, if I could get an award, if I could publish a book, if I could make a certain amount of money, that doing those things in that aspect of my life would make me feel an accomplished, successful, valuable, worthwhile person. But when I kept working hard and doing well and I still had challenges, I thought my sixth thing was that if I can just pray more, I'm going to pray more, I'm going to read the Bible more, I'm going to forgive my parents, I'm going to look through my life very carefully and apply some spiritual truth and some spiritual light to all of the things that were difficult. And then those things will just go away somehow. So the other thing that I did was that I thought if I can just keep people happy, if I can figure out what people want from me in every setting of my life, my family, my work, my friends, my church, places where I volunteer, places where I hang out, extended family, if I can just always be figuring out what people want from me, and if I can find a way to meet those needs and offer them the version of myself that they seem to want, then they will love me and I will feel safe and I will feel good and I will no longer have any struggles. And then when I still felt pain, frustration, or I wasn't getting what I needed, I would just tell myself, you know what, Tanya, you actually do not need these things. You can just live without them. And so I shut down my needs, my desires, my longings, my hopes, my expectations. And I said, I can be an independent woman who does everything on her own. Now you can probably guess what I'm going to say, is that all of these different approaches and all of these different ways to run from my pain, to gloss it over, to earn it, to get it, did not satisfy the longings in my heart, did not heal me, did not take away the pain and the loss that I had experienced as a child. So if you grew up with divorced or separated parents, I'm curious to hear what your journey has been like. Have you tried any of these 8 things that I mentioned? Have you tried denial finding love somewhere else, hoping you'll outgrow your pain, looking to it from God or from accomplishments or from pleasing people? Have you tried to shut down your emotions and protect yourself from getting hurt? The truth is, all of us were made for love and belonging, and without it, we cannot thrive. Because divorce is so common, and when it happens when you're a young person, whether you're a baby, child, or teenager, it becomes normal to you, and you just accept it because you don't have any other option. You're not in control of what your parents did or didn't do, the choices they made. You may never have had the chance to talk about your sadness, your grief, the difficult emotions, to ask the questions about why has this happened and who loves me? And this leaves you with all kinds of unanswered questions and fears and doubts, which you as a child or young person are scrambling and doing the best you can to try to figure out what happened and what it means for you. And the thing is, by the time you're old enough, by the time you're 18 or 25 or 30, and you're able to get some help, to ask for help, to process, to learn, to heal, to discover new ways of living, you may have become so used to life the way that it is, and you don't even know what you're missing. The journey of healing for children from divorced or separated parents, in my experience, and of all the people I've talked to, is a slow, step-by-step, year-by-year journey. One of the first steps is simply acknowledging and accepting the fact that you have been impacted by your parents' breakup, deeply impacted. And that as hard as you tried to run away, to ignore it, to cover it over, or to get love and acceptance in other places, you haven't been able to leave that part of your life and your story behind. And you were never meant to leave it behind. You were always meant to live a life of connection, belonging, and love. And we can't turn back time. We can't make our parents love each other or love us. Our parents came into their relationship with their own issues, their own insecurities, their own pain, and their own fears. And the reality of where our parents were at in their lives impacted us. And waiting around for them to apologize or to make it better usually doesn't help. So if you grew up with divorced or separated parents, you're listening to this video and you're thinking, yeah, I've tried some or all of these things that Tanya tried, and they've also had limited success, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Follow along. Let's learn and talk and heal together. Let's stop pretending that divorce is normal and it's not a big deal. And let's admit that the things that we experienced as a kid and the things that we didn't get as children have left a mark on us. And the good news is that you and I, we're adults now. We can make choices. We can ask for help. We can learn new skills. We can surround ourselves with people who have healthy relationships and people who want to learn and grow and heal.